Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't talking to the mic. It wasn't. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, yeah, I was talking to you. Let's see if we can get on here. Okay, I'm streaming on Wimkin. I'm going live. It says I'm live. Looks super fast. Wimkin's always first. Leaving Wimkin. Checking Rumble. Rumble looks good. Maybe it doesn't.
I'll check YouTube.
Thanks, baby. Yep, we're good on Rumble. I think we're 5x5 on everything.
Yep, we're live on YouTube.
Outstanding, Sweet Pea. Thank you.
Yep. Do we have Instagram or no?
No, we don't
Okay.
stream on Instagram.
All right.
Okay, Liv. Check donations. Make sure. Love you. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. Little bit of a delayed start. We will stay on till 9:25 because we promised to do so. That's way past your bedtime, Hayden.
I got to bed at like 4 a.m.
I know, you do. It's ridiculous. It's summer. You know, you got to live a little bit. Hello, beautiful Hayden McKenna Speer. Nice to see you here tonight, Angel says. It is good to have... Whoa, that's way big. It is good to have you here. Shirt of the show, folks. Try that in a small town. 15% off. It's automatically put in. You don't have to do it. Go to thedumshow.com. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Remember, the 15% off is a lot. So maybe pick up a bag of coffee or another shirt. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. Thank you. Step into a Wimkin.
Adjusting transmitter output.
Get off
This
your
is
phone.
the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Olivia is monitoring and gave up her seat tonight for Hayden McKenna Speer. Hayden, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. This is weird. Last week, I thought I'd never see you on the show again, and you said you didn't want to be on the show. And
There's only one topic that can get me on here, but we happen to be
Taylor
talking
Swift?
about... No.
Oh,
I mean, that could probably get me on here.
boys,
No.
what?
Palestine and Israel.
Palestine and Israel. Why is Palestine and Israel important to you?
Probably because I have a lot of friends who are Jewish. I mean, a lot of friends who are Jewish. And I know we're not Jewish, but I know you have family, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you,
And-
Sarah. We got to say thank you every time that goes
Oh,
off.
thank you.
Yes.
And I believe on your side, we have Jewish relatives.
We do. Yeah. You, Schwartz, Grandma Schwartz. And it's not a meal. I always forget her first name. But anyway, she fled Nazi Germany. And her family was eliminated by the Nazis. And then the interesting part is that you have a great uncle who would be Albert Speer.
Yeah.
And he was essentially a third hand to Hitler.
He has a Wikipedia page.
He does have a Wikipedia page, and he looks just like your grandpa.
It is scary. Like I've looked him up before because I was like Albert Speer, and then I got a Wikipedia page, and the picture looks exactly like my grandfather.
Yeah, it does. It was weird when I saw it. I was taken aback, and I'd always heard my dad talk about it, and I didn't believe it until I saw a photograph, and then I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, because I remember. I think you told me when I was 8.
Yeah.
And I did not believe it. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then I got a phone and I looked them up and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's it's not something we're proud of, but
No.
it's certainly it creates a story. And then if you go back to the Peacocks and the Speers in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, Marietta, Georgia, where my grandfather was, he owned property in both places. And the reason why he did is because he owned former slave plantations. And my great grandfather owned like 138 slaves, and we have a copy of his will. And in the will, he releases them, and which was a very interesting thing. There were different kinds of slave owners. There were slave owners who were abusive and horrible to African Americans, and then there were slave owners who were still horrible because they owned slaves, but they treated the slaves like sharecroppers and gave them land and gave them portions. And when he was going to pass, said that we would give you your ultimate freedom. And this was very contentious. And a lot of those plantations that did that went under the ire of the Southern government, and they would come and seize property and put the people back in in chains and stuff. But ultimately, I don't remember the court case, but because slaves were property, that was fought by these farmers, and they said, they're our property, we own them. And it's like giving a mule or anything else, and you can't go ahead and take over our property when we die. And it was a horrible thing. Of course, none of this is okay, but no. It's an interesting thing to know that there were levels of what we would reflect on as being very, very horrible to a group of people. Anyway, it's in our family, and we can't hide it, and it's there. We also have African-American blood. That's where we get our curly hair, as people can see in you. That's not a perm.
It isn't. I'm getting it back. I decided when I was younger, like 4 months ago, that I was going to straighten my hair every single day on 410-degree heat. And I did that from summer in between 6th and 7th grade to middle of 8th grade.
Yeah.
And like middle 8th grade, I realized, you know what? I want my curly hair back. And I tried to get it back, and it was so incredibly damaged. It would not like go anywhere. It was just flat. And fast forward 4 months, I sort of have it back.
Yeah, it's good to have it back, and you definitely have those curls. Folks, we're saving on Rumble. See if that helps. It just came on at 7:31. We had to book it in advance, so Rumble should be working now. We apologize. Your grandmother, not the Rice, but the Grandma Speer, who we don't talk about much on this show, you resemble her in regards to her hair very much. She has the naturally curly hair, and although she obliterated her hair into oblivion to try to straighten it like you did constantly, whenever it would rain, you would get curly hair. I love your curly hair. The longer, the better.
Yeah.
And when you were younger, you're just absolutely adorable with it. You're still adorable now. I mean, you're annoying, but adorable. You're wearing a Don't Unfriend Me shirt. Holy crap.
Yeah, I own 2 of them.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stole them from Mom, but she doesn't know. So
all right.
Let's hope she's not watching.
If anyone has questions for Hayden is 14 years old. Hayden has been this mature since 6. Hayden's always been this way. She's always been very mature. She honestly went through a tough patch where I think she resulted back to a kid a little bit, and the maturity left because that was her coping mechanism. But that's behind her, and she's doing very well starting high school. And very excited about It's a Wonderful Life Christmas play coming up, right?
Oh, yes. Wait, can I tell them what we're doing?
Sure, tell them everything you want. Go ahead.
Okay, so in October, I'm going into high school. And in October, we're doing The Scarlet Letter for the school play. And then in December, we're doing It's a Wonderful Life, which is my mom's favorite Christmas movie. I thought she was going to cry when I told her. In February, we're doing Into the Woods, which is the second musical. And in March, this is my personal favorite, we're doing Mamma Mia, which I'm like so stoked about because I love Mamma Mia.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm very excited about It's a Wonderful Life because I think they're going to give you Uncle Billy. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So
I
they always
honestly,
seem to pick the ones that you don't want to do.
I know. I always get like the really weird roles. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I was Shmi in Peter Pan.
you were. Larry says, what on earth is it like living with that guy? You mean her father? Larry likes to, yeah. What is it like living? Go ahead. Be completely open. We'd love to hear you.
I don't know how to respond.
You have to respond. You have to do it. It's okay. We're on the show. What's on the show stays on the show.
Like, what's it like living with that guy? Is that guy supposed to be you?
It's supposed to be me.
Like my father?
Yeah. It's amazing. With your mom, I have to turn up her mic so loud. With you, I have to turn you down.
I'm a loud person.
You always have been. Yeah. What's it like living with me is what he wants to know.
I mean, it's a normal experience. Like, if you have a father, you know what it's like. Just because he goes on live and runs a podcast doesn't mean like he's not a father. It's the same experience as everybody else.
Yeah. And I think as we were very good friends when you were younger, we kind of lost that. And now we're showing, I think, mutual respect for each other. I think we don't cross each other's boundaries. And like you coming up and crawling next to me on the couch while I'm playing my video game and not saying a word. I think, like I said, that's probably the greatest thing ever.
Because I shut up. I'm just reading.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good relationship. And Ethan and I are the same way. It's so funny. Like when I teach you how to play video games, I'm like, okay, sweetie, stop. Hold on. You want to do? And with Ethan, I'm like, you stupid son of a bitch. What's wrong with you? Stop going forward into the Giants.
Because I mean, I feel you. I was like watching him play the video game the other day. I was just sitting like reading a book because it was a really good book. And I was sitting on the couch next to him. And he was like in the recliner. And then he started like screaming at the TV. And I was just like, bro, what are you doing? And he was like, there's a crab and it's trying to kill me. And I'm like, run, dude.
And he's like,
you can't,
okay.
You can't kill the crab. Run. And this kid's like, okay. And then he runs into the crab instead of running away from the crab.
So
I was gonna scream at him. I did scream at him.
Amy says our voices are very similar though, but Hayden definitely would win a Who's Louder competition. I think you'd be surprised. Hayden, will you learn the song Blackbird and come on one night and sing it to us boomers?
I think I know that.
I think you have a voice.
Because it was in Boss Baby, right?
I don't know.
It's by the Beatles. Am I right?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think I know it.
What does it sound like?
Like,
you can't listen.
Is it copyrighted?
Yeah, you can't play it.
Oh.
Beatles, yeah, Beatles, and yeah, the Beatles are slightly copyrighted. So here's what we'll do: is we'll do. Yeah, Hayden does read. She pounds a book a day, like her dad used to.
I've read 87 books in 2024.
Yeah, she reads like her dad does. She reads a book a day, because I don't put in the words it and was and the and were and who and how and why. I read the context of the sentence and I put all those words in. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I read really fast.
Yeah, so do I.
I read a 800-page fantasy novel in 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to read my series. I just asked because your dad seems all the time. All the time. Glad he's fun. Well done, Matt. I seem like I'm what? What does that mean?
It's Gen Z slang.
Oh,
you're not gonna get it.
Larry's like 80. What do you mean it's Gen Z slang? He's like 85. Go ahead. Tell me what means. What does that mean?
Oh, no, sorry, different punctuation. No, that's not Gen Z.
Okay.
That's just you're
He's
loud.
just old. Larry's old.
You're like all the time.
Really?
You get it?
Do you think I'm
no,
all the time?
You're just like that on the show. But
yeah, well, I still think I am who I am on the show and in person. It's just I'm not this intense when I'm done. I like to play my video games. I like to work out. I like to chill. I don't know. I'm a homebody. I don't like to do much else. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we're like pretty similar. Like I will wake up, I will sit on the couch, I will read for 3 hours, and then I will go do my chores, and then I will sit back down on the couch and read till dinner. Then I'll do my chores again.
Yeah.
And then I'll read, until like 4 a.m. and then I'll go to bed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so you wanted to come on tonight for a reason, but first I wanted to show people something, something that you haven't seen in years.
Oh no!
And I think everyone
It's an
else.
embarrassing video, isn't it?
I think everybody.
No.
Hayden's always been kind of a politically minded person. So take a listen. Let me switch this around.
I look like
I'm wearing a U.S.
It represents our what? Our
It represents
that thing we hang outside. What's that called? The thing we hang outside. All right, let's do something different. What does USA stand for?
USA stands for United States of America.
Okay, and what thing do we hang outside on a pole during 4th of July? What is that thing that we hang out? The American flag.
The American flag.
How many stars on the American flag?
50.
50. What do those stars represent?
Our states.
Our states?
All of our 50
How old were you,
states.
Hayden?
And they're
that's
all
California.
All of our
so
50 states.
It's gotta
and
be.
can you tell me what the
either
capital
4,
of
5, or
California,
6.
not the nation, California?
Probably 4
What is
or
that?
5.
What's the capital of California?
I'm just kidding, Larry.
Sacramento.
Sacramento. And what's the capital of our nation?
How did I know that now? I don't even.
Washington, D.C. Can you tell me
Wait,
the two
wait.
types of laws?
You're videotaping.
I can't hear you. 2 types of laws.
You're videotaping this.
I am not videotaping this right now. I'm practicing. What are the 2 laws?
Then why did you just make me sound?
Because
God,
I want to
you
make sure I
sound
have
like
you in
Ethan.
frame when we do it. So,
So weird.
That was so Ethan.
Half those questions I don't know the answers to now.
Listen.
what are the 2 laws?
I think you're lying.
Well, you have to prove that in the court of...
I don't know.
Okay, so what are the 2 laws? Can you help me out here?
The 2 laws are states and federal.
State and federal. And who do state laws impact? Do you remember? Who has to follow state laws?
Only the state that they're talking about,
Okay.
but
And who has to follow the federal laws?
every 50 states.
All 50 states. Okay.
I say every.
Every's fine. How many different branches of government are there? Do you know that?
Mostly.
Loud and proud.
3.
3. Can you tell me what the legislative branch is responsible for?
The legislative makes the laws.
The legislative makes the laws. What does the executive branch do?
Police's laws.
Polices laws. And what does the judicial branch do?
Just looks at the laws to make sure they're okay.
They look at the laws to make sure they're okay. So almost done.
It's like this.
Yep. They look at
That's
those.
not okay or not.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let me ask you another question. Do you remember how many senators there are per state? Remember, there's a total of 100 total, and there's 50 states. How many are there? Can you sit in your chair real quick? How many senators per state? Do you remember?
2.
2. Okay.
See, she knew the answer all along, but
Let's
she
go over
started to be
something
stubborn.
else. The piece of paper that have all of
just
these
gotta hear
things
this part.
written on is called the U.S.
A.
No, it has that piece of paper that has all the laws written on it. What's that called? The
The Constitution.
Constitution. Do you remember what year it was written? 17.
19.
No, turn it around.
1799.
90. Say it loud.
91.
1791. Okay, we're almost done. There might be ice cream, so I'm going to bribe you. Okay, that's better. All right, so 1791. Can you tell me
I was a better dad.
what a bill is? A bill is what? We're almost done. Can you something else real quick? So share your opinions. So the free
Amendment.
So if the Bill of Rights is a group of laws,
She was 4.
a bill wants to
I was
become
4?
a law. Okay, good enough. So then we call that a
Amendment.
amendment. And if that amendment is voted by the House of Representatives, the Congress, and not vetoed by the President, it becomes a
Law.
law. Okay, First Amendment, freedom of
Speech.
What is it?
Speech.
Okay, it gives you the right to do what? Give me one of them.
Share your opinions.
To share your opinions. So the freedom of speech. Tell me about freedom of assembly.
Is that the second one?
Oh, I'll do the second one. I apologize. Freedom of press or news. It allows you to get what?
It allowed you to get a gun and protect yourself.
Wrong. That's the second. It gives you the press or news, the freedom to get
Right.
information. And also, if the press says, hey, I don't like this guy, he's a horrible person. And do they have to prove that, or can
It's pretty.
You should quiz me on this now.
Well, I know you know it now. You got an A in civics, so
I did get an A, and I got a 573 on my SOL.
I know,
which is my final,
almost-
which is like really good.
yeah, it's almost like your brother who actually got a perfect score on his SOL. But
No, he didn't.
yes, he did. He got a 600. He got a
On
six-
his history, that's not civics.
I understand that he's not taking civics. He still got a 600.
Yes, so we'll see who gets a higher score when he gets to 8th grade.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to offer him money to beat you.
It's so incredibly hard to beat that though. There were only 3 perfect scores, and I was the 6th highest
Whatever.
score.
Show some humility.
So
show some humility.
pretty hard to beat that.
The fact that you knew that stuff at a young age and still stayed entertained. And we had our moments. I mean, I tried to teach you how to write a 3 correctly, and we basically couldn't go to the Redwood Forest when you were 3. That was 1 year. And then Olivia looks at me and goes, take over her teaching. I'm like, done. And once I did that, you were just, but I was always able to keep you in line. And it was fun. It was amazing. And you know this stuff, and you've crushed it. So, okay. So why are we going on? Why are you here tonight? Because you didn't want to come on the show, and you've kind of not wanted to be on the show.
Originally,
she was 4, by the way, 4 years old in that video.
I still don't know that lines up because that was in California, and I was in a leotard, which means I had either just gotten back or was going
during the
to
Olympics
gymnastics.
because we bought you the USA gymnastics leotard. So it was when you were 4.
And then I remember I joined gymnastics at 3.
Mom has a question for you. Mom says, can you ask her how to spell gorilla? Oh, your mother. She's not funny. She's not funny at all. So we're not going to go into it. We don't have time. Why come on tonight? I mean, brother's going to be here in like 15. You're going to have a little extra time, of course.
Yeah.
But why tonight? What was it? Tell people why and what happened.
So previously, I've never wanted to come on the show because I just like keep my opinions private. But Palestine and Israel is something that I have a very strong opinion on. And I'm not afraid to voice that in any way. And I saw the riots on the news because we watch the news every time we eat dinner. And I saw the riots and I was like, oh my God. And then my mom was like, I'm not going to come on tonight, blah, 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 blah. And my brother was like, oh, I'll go on instead. And then I was like, I'll go on.
He's like, because I'm going to go off is what
he was like, I'm going to go off on this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he was like, but I'll go on. And I was like, I'll go on. Because I never go on. I don't like going on, but tonight's a little different.
So let's watch a little bit about what happened, and for those who haven't seen it, and overall why the reaction is the way it is.
Free Gaza from what? Themselves? Why are people saying free Gaza?
Well, they're saying Hamas, free Gaza, because they believe that the Gaza Strip is being essentially occupied by Israel.
The International Union of Painters, the National Education Association, the Service Employees International Union, the United Auto Workers.
They lowered the flags and raised Palestinian flags and lit them on fire.
Been blockaded by the people for Palestine. Now it's 5. Pennsylvania in 9. Independence in 14. North Carolina and Pennsylvania Southeast. Independence in 4th. And Union Station have all been claimed by the people. Constitution is effectively shut down by our presence here alone. from 11 here.
So Hayden, sponsored by unions, sponsored by leftist groups. Iran is funneling money into these groups. They were being unloaded off buses. Not many non-formal protests. See, the great thing about the 60s and the 70s, it was spontaneous. It was reaction to what was going on. There wasn't necessarily one leader. It was multiple facets of pockets coming together to march on Washington for the rights and the civil rights of African Americans and minority groups. This is funded by Iran. This is something that is planned. What the hell is that, Hayden?
It's chocolate.
Here you go. So I'd love. Does she get water too? Okay. Is there anything else you need to make you more comfortable? If you spill it, Hayden,
chocolate.
if you spill this, I swear you'll be grounded until you're 46. So
That's not legal.
Hayden, put it over there and get it away from my mic and my expensive stuff. I want to get your thoughts. You came on, and I'm going to shut up and let you talk, and you tell me what you wanted to say.
So, I'm like disgusted by this, just saying, because that is, I don't know where they stormed. Was it DC?
Yeah, it's several pockets around the country, but predominantly Washington, D.C. And then I don't know where else it was.
But, oh my God, there's a fly. But I am disgusted by this because if I'm not mistaken, I haven't done a lot of research, but from what I've seen, these are American citizens who are protesting in the capital of our country and representing us. And they are storming the Capitol. They are spray painting our monuments. They are burning our flag. And then these videos are being recorded and they're being uploaded. And our country, other countries see that. They see the people who represent the United States of America, and they see that we are not united at all. Our country is split. We have different point of views, and that's okay to have different political opinions. But what's not okay is to storm a Capitol, spray paint, vandalize monuments. We have the right to peaceful protests. This was not peaceful in any way. This was a riot. Oh my gosh, turned off again. This is not peaceful. This is a riot. People are destroying our image as a united country over something that isn't even their country. They're storming our capital and destroying the image of our country over Palestine and Israel. And we are allowed to have opinions on the war. We are allowed to vocalize our opinions, and we are allowed to bring attention to what we think. Because right now we're doing that. Right now we're on a podcast and we're vocalizing what we speak. But I'll answer that in a second. But because right now we are using the First Amendment and we are projecting our voices and we're using freedom of speech. And everybody else has the right of assembly. We have 5 speech freedoms: speech, press, assembly, religion, and
petition the government.
Petition. Yeah, that one. And you can use those, but you're not allowed to completely storm something, riot, and it's disgusting.
What do you think about J6 though? I mean, so there's conservatives that say, oh, well, January 6th was a bunch of patriots and freedom fighters. Well, go ahead.
I think no matter what you're fighting for, this could be Israel supporters doing it. And I would still be utterly disgusted. Because even though I support Israel, you do not storm our capital and make our country look bad to the rest of the world. It looks bad enough with Biden in office. We already look weak enough. We don't need people to think the American people aren't united. And right now we aren't. And we need to be. And January 6th, even though what they were storming for might be right in certain people's eyes, even though I agree with some things that they were storming the Capitol for, they have no right to storm the Capitol because it's not a peaceful protest. we have the right to peacefully assembly. We have the right to peaceful protest. But this January 6th was not peaceful. People died. It was...
Hold on. No, this is the narrative that's tough for me because I have to correct you on that. Everything else you said, I understand. Nobody died as a direct result of J6 except for Ashley Babbitt, who was shot. So officially, yes, Ashley Babbitt did die. And officers, unfortunately, there were a few innocent civilians who lost their lives, and it was accredited to J6. But I want to be really clear. There was definitely violence, and there was basically three different things that happened on J6. One, there's four. 57,000 people were completely peaceful and just listened to a Donald Trump rally and then went home. There was a group of about 3,000 that marched on the steps and climbed and went on the scaffolding and everything else. And then a group, a little under 500, went into the Capitol building and went into the Senate chambers and went into areas they essentially, some were allowed to go and some weren't. Some were ushered in, some were security backed off, and some security engaged and tried to stop them. So it was just a very confusing thing. And there's about a group of 150 on the stairs who had purposeful intent to go in there and take hostages. And people go, no, they didn't. Yes, they did. Yeah, you don't bring zip ties to a peaceful protest. Okay, it's so there was a lot of good and a lot of bad and a lot of indifferent in J6. But I'm with you. I don't support it in any way, shape, or form. And I think it was an embarrassment and a scar in the Republican Party because it gave the Democrats carte blanche to say, well, look at Republicans. I mean, you guys are horrible. And then discredit what they did with the Summer of Love and the $2.5 billion of burning cities and all that other stuff. So now that we understand you're upset, what's it like at school and what's your experience? Someone just asked a question of, are you scared? And do you think that how does this impact you as a kid overall?
Because I'm not an adult, I can't vote. I can express my opinion, but I can't vote. I'm not scared personally, but I'm scared for what this means for our country. Because Biden isn't running, but he still is in office. And for the past 3.5 years, our country has been the weakest it has ever been. People have...
Well, what do you mean by ever been? I mean, you're freaking 14 years old. What do you mean?
In the history that I've learned, again, I wasn't alive during it. I don't actually know that. Nobody actually knows that because nobody was alive during the Great Depression who's still living now. Nobody was alive when our country first became an actual country.
Correct.
This is something that we've learned in history books. And from what I've gathered, again, I'm not insanely educated on this topic. So if I'm wrong, correct me.
No, I don't. My question was rhetorical. I agree with you 120% because you're red. But a lot of people go, well, how does she know? She's not alive. And it's like the same way that I understood things at your age is because I actually read and didn't eat so much damn dark chocolate. But go ahead.
So nobody actually knows this, if this is the weakest our country has ever been, because nobody has been alive since 1991 or 1790. I'm tired. Since 1791. We don't know. But what we do know is that right now, the world around us thinks that we're weak because our president probably couldn't even find America on a map. He has no idea. What?
No, I'm working.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing my job.
Okay.
I have to check comments. I have to do things. I'm working. I'm going to let you. I'm letting you go. Just go. You have carte blanche. Go.
So our president couldn't find America on a map. Our president can't put together a sentence. And the vice president, who is now the Democrat nominee, I think that was approved, right?
It's not nominee because she wasn't nominated. It was, so she's the Democrat appointed or anointed, if you want to use old English common law language. She's not an elected official anymore. She was elected vice president. So she's not even a nominee. That's the interesting thing. So yes, come on, it is official. She has enough electoral votes without delegate votes, to be the DNC's a non-nominated presidential candidate. That's correct.
So, and now our vice president, who is the Democrat representative, I guess I'm gonna say. I don't
No,
know.
it would be it's House of Representatives. The vice president. Well, first of all, the vice president is still Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
She's running because Joe didn't resign because Joe doesn't want to admit that he has a mental impairment that stops him from being able to do his job. So he's going to make it sound like, well, I'm just dropping out because of the polls. But if Biden was to resign, it would actually be Kamala Harris and the Speaker of House, Mike Johnson. And probably they would not replace with a new VP because it's too close to the election. So Mike Johnson would stay de facto vice president until the interim, until January 21st, when the transfer of presidencies happen and the peaceful transfer of power takes place to Donald Trump, hopefully.
Yeah. So.
By the way, when was the Great Depression?
1920.
What?
1923.
1929. So to answer your question, the person would roughly be 71 plus 24, 95 years old. So there are people alive, but they're gumming tapioca and watching Matlock, and they probably have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Sorry for those. If there's any 95-year-olds, I'm sure I have a few. I apologize. Good job in the Great Depression. Close enough. I figured this way. If you get within a decade, you're doing it right.
If I get within a decade.
So CP Williams says, one problem is we are not a democracy. Okay, this is not the show that you have to tell me that or
Clearly.
her that. We are very aware that we're not a democracy. Using the language of democratic process, there are portions of our government that are based on a democracy. You understand that? And just because we have a constitutional republic and an elective representative through a democratic process, which is based upon election.
Aren't we a representative democracy?
We are a representative democracy. That is correct.
Yeah, because I learned that in civics. I was like, democracy's in there somewhere, but there's an R word that comes before it.
Yeah, the way we elect our officials essentially is a representative democracy. Now, where democracy doesn't take place is in the Electoral College, which is the mass of the overall populace based upon state is ordered a certain amount of electorate votes, and then the first person to 270 votes out of those states proportionate to their citizenship and constituents would then be the president. That's the last thing from a democracy.
I know a lot about the federal government, not that good on state government. That's why I didn't get a perfect score on my civics. But I know a lot about local and a lot about federal.
So going back to this, you're not a fan of Joe Biden. Now hold on a second. People are going to say the only reason she's like this is because of you. Is that Nat driving you crazy? It's driving me crazy.
Well, it was in my water, and then it flew out of my water.
Suck it up, spit it out. So listen, hey, a lot of people who would watch this would go, "Oh my God, the only reason she likes Trump, or the only reason she thinks this or thinks that, is because you've brainwashed your child." Do you want to answer those people? Because
actually, I have a really good point on this.
Good, make a point.
Okay, say you have a religion. The only reason why you follow that religion is because you grew up that way. There's an exception to the rule. Maybe you're a born-again Christian. Maybe you decided after you're older, oh, I want to join this religion. But all my friends who are Christian or Jewish or Muslim, they all believe in the God they believe in because their family raised them that way. If you grew up in the Middle East, you would most likely follow whatever I can't pronounce that. Whatever religion they follow, you would most likely. You sound like the ventriloquist guy, the skeleton dude. Ahmed. It's Ahmed.
Ahmed. Go ahead.
But you would most likely follow the religion that they follow there. And just like in the United States, the most popular religion is Christian or Catholic, one of the two.
Christians are Catholic. Don't get me started. Amy's going to kill you if you say that. So just for the sake of argument, just say Christians are Catholics. They are. People are going to be like, they are Catholics. They are Christians. People get really upset about this. But go ahead.
But the only reason, like one of my close friends, she's very Christian, but she admits, like if she grew up somewhere else, if she grew up in a Jewish family, if she grew up in a Middle Eastern family, she would follow the religion that she grew up with because that's what you're taught is right. And the same goes for politics. Like all these politicians, they believe in what they believe in because they grew up in the household they did. If they grew up in a different household, they could have different political views. So of course, I'm going to lean to the right because my parents lean to the right. And that's what I've learned. That's what I've grown up with. But I've also gone on the internet. We had COVID. I grew up during COVID. I had a lot of time on the internet. And I've also gotten to learn the other point of view. And my parents have been very open with me about the Democratic point of view. They've been very open with me about any third party point of view. And I know a lot about politics, especially for my age. And I have genuinely chosen to lean more right. I'm not all the way right. I'm not as right as my dad. I'm not as right as my mom. I'm more in the middle, like I'm a 60-40. But of course, anybody who grows up in the household that they're going to grow up in, they're going to lean more to their parents' point of views. And that's just a fact.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I disagree with you that we're 60-40.
Well, I'm 60-40.
I don't think you are. Let's have a conversation.
Okay.
What do you think about, I don't think she's a moderate. I don't. No. What is your opinion on taxation?
I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't have to file taxes.
Fair enough.
I don't.
No, it's fine. What's your opinion on abortion?
I have a very strong opinion on abortion.
Then put your opinion out there. Let's hear it.
It's murder. I said it. Abortion is murder.
Okay.
Period.
Okay. So you're there on abortion.
That is the one thing that I am 100% Republican on.
Do you believe in I get it. What do you believe more, states' rights or federal rights? So government having more influence in our lives or less influence in our lives?
I believe it should be an equal balance. I think we should definitely have control over our own lives, and the state should have control over their people. But I also think that if the federal government wasn't there, then that wouldn't work either. We need a powerful federal government, but we also need it to balance with the states. It needs to be equal.
Fair enough. So you believe in what document protects and ensures that the states are have an equal voice and an equal proportion to the 50 states that represent? What document takes care of that? Don't be a jerk. Don't be a dork. Just say it. Stop it. Don't overcomplicate this, please.
I want to say it's an amendment, right?
No, it's not. It is an amendment. It's an amendment. Sure. So yes, it is. So let's go through. What is it? What amendment is it? You know what it is.
The 14th is due process, though, right?
No.
It's not the 14th.
No, it's not the 14th. It is. It's within the Bill of Rights. It's within the first 10.
The first is freedom of speech. Second is right to bear arms.
Yeah. Third is quartering of troops.
Fifth is due process.
Fifth is
due process.
Fifth is the right to remain silent, to not incriminate yourself, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Come on.
7.
Do you want me to go get the book?
No, I know it. I swear.
Let me ask you a question. If you were the founding fathers, what would you ensure if it was the first 10, which are the fundamental rights to ensure that the constituents are protected? Nobody write this down. Let her get it.
It's the 10th, isn't it?
Yeah. Why would it be the last one?
Because after all of the amendments that they wrote, they want to ensure the last one. They want it to make it clear that the states have their own powers and
That's
the
right.
federal government
That's right.
has their own powers.
Absolutely, 100%. So when something isn't declared or isn't within the enumerated reasoning in between 1 and 9, 10 would be the default to all reserve powers to the states. Does that make sense? That's why Roe v. Wade, which is abortion, obviously, went back to the states, is because of the 10th Amendment. Fair enough? Okay. So so let's talk about something else. National defense. Where do you stand with America getting involved in foreign wars and being police state? Do you think we should be more focused on making our country as strong as possible, and of course stepping in when needed and necessary that threatens our sovereignty? Or do you believe that the United States has a mandate to fix other countries who are not necessarily in line with our own ideology?
I think we should definitely, our country comes first, period. That's how it should be. Okay. But in wars where our allies are fighting it, like I think Japan's an ally, if I'm not mistaken.
Japan is an ally.
If Japan got in a war, I would expect our country to step in and help them.
Yeah. So you and I completely agree, but Democrats don't believe that. See, Democrats don't believe we should protect Taiwan from China and don't recognize Taiwanese independence from China. And Japan would obviously be involved in that because Taiwan and Japan have a very important relationship. So the Democrats don't believe in that type of policing. Usually when Democrats get involved in wars and conflicts, it's to very similar to eugenics, very similar to the Great Society, very similar to Manifest Destiny, which is to change people's core values to what they believe. And they will force other cultures to that they consider to be primitive, whether it be Iran, whether it be Libya, whether it be Syria, Mogadishu, wherever. The Democrats usually go in and want to reinstall governments and change the country. That's not within line with Taiwan. And that's not why they want to defend Taiwan. We want to defend Taiwan because of capitalism, because they're a very rich country. And if they invade, our iPhones will essentially stop. And then you have Apple, which is on the NASDAQ, which will absolutely bankrupt our country because it is such a large corporation that is a part of our economy now. Mm-hmm. So you have to consider why Democrats and Republicans do things. Where do you stand on gay marriage?
It should 100% be legal.
You got to speak up to the mic.
It should 100% be legal. This I get really worked up about because it is absolutely nobody's business who you love. It does not matter in any way because there is no difference between a man loving a man, a woman loving a woman, and a female loving a male. There's no difference.
Well, there certainly is a difference.
Well, if we want to go scientifically, women and women can't get each other pregnant. Men and men can't get each other pregnant unless they have a surrogate or a sperm donor or something like that.
Okay.
But it is absolutely nobody's business who you love because
sure, but marriage doesn't necessarily equate to the definition of love. Marriage is and this is where you and I will talk, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just going through an educational process. Marriage is a biblical process, and it's a theological process. It should not even be in the hands of the government. It should be in the hands of the churches because it recognizes a man and woman in holy matrimony. And joining together is a religious experience. And when religion believes that marriage is between a man and a woman, because that's what the scripture says, and other people want to equate that to every sexual relationship, it's antithetical to what the religious purpose of marriage is. So the question is, does it have to be marriage, or could it be common law, or could it be a union where taxes are shared and healthcare is shared and deductions are shared, and it's bank accounts and housing and everything else can be shared as a union, but does it have to be called marriage?
Well, if we want to go off the Bible, mm-hmm. Yeah, gay marriage isn't really a thing. It's in the Bible. It's a sin to be gay.
It's not.
It says
not. It's not.
Man shall not lie with boy.
It's definitely different than what we're saying, because you have to be very. It depends on your interpretation. But okay, fine. You know what? I'm gonna let you finish. Just go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Marriage now is more modern.
Yes.
Everyone gets married.
Yes.
It is a very common thing. And it happens in every religion. Mm-hmm. Muslims get married.
Yep.
Christians get married.
Yep.
Catholics get married. I know we said we weren't going to separate those two, but I'm separating them.
Okay.
Atheists get married. Atheists get married.
Yep.
Jewish people get married.
Yep.
Everybody gets married.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going off the religion thing here,
mm-hmm.
atheists shouldn't be allowed to get married either.
That would be correct.
People in...
Well, there's no requirement in the Bible that says you have to believe in God to be joined in holy matrimony. Although you do take your vows.
You take your vows under God.
Under God. That's correct. So, but a demonstration of my faith isn't required for me to get married. Only in certain religions like Catholicism, Judaism, and others that are a little bit more stringent in their policies. But modern day Christians can go in and get married, just say, I'm a Christian. It's like when I joined the military, they're like, what religion are you? And I'm like, is it Christian? Is it Jewish? Is it, or NA? And I'm like, I don't want NA on my dog tag. Just put Christian, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't have to qualify that statement, but when two men walk up and they want to get married in a church, the question would be, what is it the religious freedoms of the parishioners and in the house of God? Is it their freedoms not to do things that are against their own religion? Or is it the freedom of those two people to get married? Well, it's certainly defined in the Bible that their belief structures are protected under the First Amendment, and you shouldn't have to go ahead and marry two men together if that is not your choice to do so.
I think marriage now, it's a very modern thing. A lot of people do it. And just as it's not based on religion, just as it's not based on skin color, just as it's not based on political beliefs or anything like that, it should not be based on gender. Because even though scientifically it doesn't really work, that doesn't mean emotionally it doesn't.
Fair enough. So you and I completely agree on this. And people wonder, well, how does Hayden come? Because we do this. We have a talk. We have dialogue. And I happen to believe that every single church in the country or synagogue or mosque does not have to join two people who are not man and woman in marriage. They do not have to. And they have every right to say no.
We have rights, and every single church has a right to say no. Doesn't make it actually right.
But it doesn't necessarily make it wrong either. And that's where just because we happen to agree that we know people who are two women or two men and we're comfortable with that because we've allowed that into our lives and we understand their point of view, does not mean we have to have other people accept that without the same experiences as us. That's the problem. There's always more than one side to most arguments, right? So it's hard for people to say, well, why can't you just accept it? Well, because why can't you just accept me not accepting it? For the same reasons, because you fervently believe, adamantly believe that marriage should be between anybody. Well, there's people who believe, and they're not evil and they're not wrong, that marriage is only between a man and a woman. So this is where an impasse is created, right? This is where the states come in. This is where certain churches will allow gay marriage and other churches won't. And you're more than happy to go to one of those churches if you would like. But it's like saying men can't have all men clubs and women can't have women clubs. You're saying that the Boy Scouts has to be a part of the Girl Scouts because there are boundaries and people need to be able to celebrate and form and petition or assemble in a way that constitutes the same similarities that they have to get to the same conclusion. And that's really the argument, is that it's both right and it's both wrong.
And everybody is allowed to have their opinion. And I'm never going to judge anybody for their opinion, unless it's like something really drastic, like you believe like slaves should still exist. Then I'm judging you very harshly.
Right, but one is illegal.
Yeah.
But one is a law. One was an agreed upon law with precedent.
And I'm never going to judge you for having a political opinion because I've grown up around politics. And you're allowed to have your opinion.
Yes.
You're allowed to have freedom of speech.
Yep.
You're allowed to vocalize your opinion.
Sure.
Some things are morally wrong, and I'm going to heavily judge you for your opinion.
That is completely acceptable, and you and I completely agree. Joanne says, so your rights end where mine begin. No.
What does that mean?
That's not what it says. It says that you are allowed to have your freedoms until you impose on mine. That they don't end. Your freedoms continue. But if you want to say speech is okay in all facets, but you come into a movie theater and scream fire, you still have the right to say fire. There are consequences for those actions. And if I am hurt or my family is hurt in that process, then you will be held accountable because you put my rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in danger. So that's what we're saying. My point is that the whole thing came about with the cake thing in Colorado, Haiti, is that a gay couple wanted a baker in Colorado to make them a cake, two men. And the baker said, no, I'm a Christian. I'm not going to do this. But those two gay men also drove like 75 miles out of town knowing that baker did that to create a conflict. So the question is, why didn't you just go to a baker in your town that was cool with it, who knew you, who you grew up with, or why didn't you order it online, or why didn't you just go to Safeway or King Soopers and get a cake? The point I'm trying to make is a lot of people create problems that don't exist in order to go ahead and have problems that exist.
Mm-hmm. And again, everybody's allowed to have an opinion. I have my own, you have your own. Everybody has their own.
Right.
And some things are morally wrong. Some things are right.
Who decides what's morally wrong?
Like, just genuinely wrong.
I know. Who decides? Hayden, hold on. You just made a statement that said, if you grow up in a situation or an environment where a certain ideology is present, you accept that it's okay. So what if your parents are satanic and they sacrifice goats to Cthulhu? Is that acceptable? Sure. It's acceptable because you do it every single morning, just like beef eaters. Beef eaters wake up and they eat steak, but then another family's like, oh my God, it's like killing God's creatures. So whatever you grow up with ultimately is defined by your own moral code and the people around you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Everybody has their own moral code, and that's fine. It's really an opinion-based thing.
Sure.
Like, people can judge you, people cannot. I'm not going to judge you unless I think it's morally wrong, because my definition of morally wrong and other people's definition of morally wrong is completely different. Like, personally, murder when it's justified is not morally wrong. But if I told somebody else that, they would be like, murder, no matter if it's justified or not, is morally wrong and it should not be allowed.
See, this is why you say you're a moderate. You're not. You believe in the death penalty then?
When it's justified, yes.
Well, it's justified. When it's justified by a court of law.
Yeah.
Court of law and a jury of their peers dignifies and signifies whether that person is to be found guilty and their crimes constitute the death penalty. You believe in the death penalty. Mm-hmm. You believe in the Second Amendment thoroughly? Are AR-15s okay?
Mm-hmm. As long as you're not harming anybody with them. If it's in defense, you can have a gun. I don't care. So just don't show up to my school and kill people. Like, that's when it becomes wrong.
Right. So you're a Republican and you're a conservative, because every question I've asked you align with conservative values. Mm-hmm. But I didn't program you that way. In fact,
because we've disagreed in the past. Like, my opinions have changed during this election because I'm invested in this now. Mm-hmm. Especially after Trump got shot. Like, Trump got shot and I was like, okay, I'm invested now. And
how much did that bother you?
I was just playing the piano. Oh my gosh.
Relax.
The computer breaks.
It's not broken. It's just the light goes off. Go ahead.
I was just playing like the piano. Like, I was playing a Taylor Swift song or something because I play the piano. And then I hear my mom like run across the house and I'm like, okay. And then I hear her like scream down the stairs, Matt, Trump's fired at the shot, or like, Matt, shots fired at the Trump rally. And I'm
King
like,
Forest illegal hunt deer. Like, someone's hunting deer illegally in the King's Forest.
Run to the basement door and scream down the steps, Matt, shots fired at the Trump rally. And I was like, what? And so I like ran from the piano, ran to the TV, and I just see Secret Service like on top of Trump. And I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then she rewinds it and she shows you, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like shaking. And then I called my friends, and there were several mixed opinions on it. But
what do you mean?
There were a few people who were like, "Oh my gosh, this is not right. Like, how dare they?" There were some people who were like, "I don't like him, but he doesn't deserve to die." There were some people who were like, "I don't like him, but the fist thing was like really cool." And then there was somebody who was like, "Why'd they miss?" I don't speak to that person anymore, to say the least.
Do you want to out them on public?
We're not outing people.
Okay.
I'm not name dropping.
Okay.
I don't even think you know who it is.
So
I don't think I've told you.
I don't want to know. I don't want anyone who condones violence against people with no reasoning. Donald Trump doesn't need to be assassinated. Donald Trump either needs to be not elected or elected. And at this point, he needs to be elected.
Yes.
How would you not put him in?
Exactly.
How can you not put him in?
I don't like the dude personally, but his politics, they're pretty good.
They are. He's very effective. And I like him personally. I think he gets a bad rub. I really do. Yes, he's sanctimonious. Yes, he can kind of be obnoxious, but who can't? But there are times when he frustrates me. Here is Director Wray from the FBI. Now, the FBI has been very critical of Donald Trump. They have went after Donald Trump, and they're not supposed to be a political entity, yet they continue to make political statements. I want you to listen to this and tell me how you feel about this. Because do you believe Donald Trump was shot?
Yes.
Okay, so listen to this.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all of the shots in the cartridges. So let us.
So essentially, he's saying it's possible that Trump wasn't shot at all. And
I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people say it was staged. And I'm just like, are you stupid? Because, like, we saw his ear. Like, come off, bro. We saw blood everywhere. His ear was gone.
Well, it wasn't gone. But
the tip of his ear was,
yeah.
Where was it? You could not see it.
It was, he definitely lost a bit of cartilage, I would assume. Or at least enough to graze it. It was yeah. So how does that make you feel that the director of the FBI, who is responsible for looking this up, actually believes that he wasn't shot, or kind of believes that, even remotely believes it? Because look at this. I'm going to show you a picture. Take a look. That's the bullet in flight. So this is...
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's obviously leaving... Essentially, when a bullet goes through, it superheats the air. Particles go ahead and dissipate and vaporize, and it leaves also a contrail behind it. So you can see the round moving, and someone actually caught that in a shot. This has been certified. This is true. That's
like a cool shot.
It is a cool shot. It's a scary shot, but a cool shot. And that's one going by, and that's not the one that obviously hit him. But the point is that I've already debunked this. There was no shrapnel and glass because the teleprompters weren't hit.
Yeah. Because he was hit on his second shot, right? Because it was like, it went 1, 2, and then he grabbed his ear.
Yeah,
and then a third one went off. And then he was like, oh. And then he was like, get down. And then he got down, and then 2 more went off. Yeah,
we broke it down, and we thought it was first shot. But I'm thinking about it, I think it's the second shot. Because if it's the truth that it was the first shot, then his ear would have been clipped there, and it's too low where he got struck.
Yeah,
and
I'm pretty sure it's the second.
I think so too. But either way, the FBI forensic will come out whether it's true or not. But the point is that it's not. If you're the director of the FBI and you're doing an investigation, you probably shouldn't have an opinion on this.
Yeah, you don't need an opinion. You need facts.
Yeah, you should shut up and just give us the facts. Roxanne says, I truly don't think it matters if it was a bullet or shrapnel, although I believe it was a bullet. The whole point is someone tried to assassinate him. Another man died. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 others were injured. It's like it doesn't change anything. It's
it's
like you put Kamala Harris in. That doesn't make Joe Biden's policies any better. It makes her culpable for all of his policies because she was the vice president of the United States. So, just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't mean it's any prettier. You say can't hear you. You have to be close to the... I said
exactly. I just whispered that under my breath.
All right. So hold on 1 second.
Door yet.
Okay. So you're just going to finish off the show. We'll have Ethan on another time. This is a conversation I'll sit down and have with him that you committed to a time and you're not here. So we'll hold him accountable to that.
He's probably watching a movie or something and got carried away.
Does that matter if it was you?
No.
Then it doesn't matter that it's him. Right?
Yeah.
He committed. He said he was going to be here. He's not here. And that's, be nice to Ethan. He's just, no. You asked why my kids
You have no idea how late this kid is every single day.
Yeah.
We're like, be home by 5. He rolls in the door at 5:45 and we're like, where have you been?
Okay, so
is he here?
yes, and he's so disappointed. He just heard that. He went, oh, he's even wearing a donut friendly hat. He's gonna kill you.
Nice job, Hayden. Nice
I
job.
love you, Ethan.
I didn't say it. It was her.
You want chocolate? I have chocolate. Come here.
Hayden, I want you to watch one other thing, and then we're going to bring Ethan in, and we will continue. And good for him, and you tell him I love him. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to backpedal. Thanks a lot, Hayden.
Sorry.
I want you to watch this, and you tell me your gut reaction on what this is, and then we're pretty much gonna give Ethan the same thing. Watch this.
What'd you get? So, okay, so I don't know. Do you know music?
Hayden, is Kamala Harris black?
Yeah, it's very visible.
Jamaican?
She might be mixed.
She's
but
Jamaican and Indian.
She looks black. That's all anybody cares about. Doesn't mean she is, but you know.
Okay, good.
That's all anybody cares about.
Okay, you and I are in the same. I think I said the exact same effing thing last night. Here, watch this.
Okay, so first of all, Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic. And then Porgy and Bess. Right? And this is a beautiful one. It's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. So there you go.
She has horrible music taste. There was no Taylor Swift. There was no Arctic Monkeys. Girl, it's the 21st century. Grow up, please.
What is she doing?
She's trying to be like,
Just be honest.
She's trying to like be, I listen to this because I'm black. Because if I'm not mistaken, those were all black artists.
They are.
And they were all old jazz artists.
And if you were black, you would have had all of those records beforehand. You're just trying to be black, and it's pandering bullshit sugar. Just like Hillary Clinton with hot sauce, right? I got hot sauce in my purse. I got hot sauce in my bag swag. Yes, I do.
No. To this day, I want to see Hillary Clinton actually eat something with hot sauce in it.
Oh,
I bet you she would not be able to take it.
Oh, there's no doubt. She shouldn't put hot sauce on anything. She has no flavor in her life. She's married to Bill. So, but see, I don't need to teach. You and I didn't have a conversation about Kamala and her color of her skin or what she was doing there. It's obvious. If a 14-year-old figures it out, why can't Democrats? She's pandering. She is just. Mom has a question. Hayden, do you have any liberal teachers that you sometimes don't agree with, and how do you handle it?
If teachers discuss politics in our school, they're going to get fired. That's like the end of discussion. The only time political debates ever came up was in civics. And this was like really funny because this was completely accidental, but our seating chart in the first quarter, somehow all of the conservatives kids were put on one side of the room and all of the Democrat kids were put on the other. And anytime we'd be talking about like rights, when the Second Amendment came up, oh gosh, that was a very interesting conversation. But it was very clear that our civics teacher was definitely conservative. But it was funny because it wasn't the teachers who would debate with us. It was the class. And I'm telling you, the class would get into wars. Like we would, because there were kids who like blew hair dye, wore LGBTQ flags on their back. And then there were kids who wore cowboy boots, cowboy hats, and like, I'm pretty sure would take a bullet for Trump. And the class was split. And it would be the funniest thing when we get into political debates. But it never ended up in like, oh, there was a winner. Oh, like, this is right. The teacher would just tell us to shut up because we were wasting class time. But no, there's never been political things with teachers, more students.
Real quick, folks, linktapgo.com/DUM show. We haven't talked about it. We are at $2,932.82 of our goal. Facebook, which we love, right, Hayden?
Yeah.
Decided to take 90% of our revenue and throw it away. For the first 3.5 years, we never asked for a donation. Not once, not any time. People had offered $10,000 donations, and we said no. We never took a donation. And then when Facebook decided to go ahead and demonetize us, we can't get stars and we cannot get copyright, and they don't even play ads on our live stuff anymore, no matter how popular we are. So linktapgo.com/DUM show. You can actually tip and donate to the show. It doesn't matter. Some people give $1, some people give 100, people have given 1,000. We appreciate it. It helps us. Now, a lot of people go, well, you've got sponsors and stuff. We have a little bit for sure. Wimkin does a great job helping us. By the way, if you haven't been to wimkin.com, go do that. I sell some shirts and stuff, but that's not enough to pay the rent and keep this kid happy, and because she eats me out of house and home. Not really. She used to, not anymore. Now she's like a bird. She doesn't eat much anymore. But she
don't.
But she buys
It's
a lot of
crazy.
books, and that shit's expensive stuff.
I have a Kindle, and it's Kindle Unlimited. You pay $11 a month.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute you because you're not helping. But anyway, if you don't like Hayden, give us money so we can sell her to China. If you do like Hayden, give us money also because then we can keep her around, folks. We
They
appreciate.
can buy me books that I don't have on Kindle Unlimited.
Correct.
There we go. See, I helped.
Take care of your family, take care of your loved ones, pay your rent first, pay your car payment, get your presents for your family and loved ones, get your summer vacation taken care of. If all that's taken care of and you got a little extra and you don't mind helping out the Donor Family Show, this is how you do it. linktapgo.com/thedumshow. Olivia, everybody, or Hayden, Hayden gets 1 minute. You look like mom sometimes, especially with a purple shirt. Hayden gets 1 minute, like everyone does at the end of the show. I want to thank you for coming on.
Wait, isn't Ethan coming on?
You are, but I got to get you out of here so he can come on. So I got to exit. You got to exit stage left.
Oh.
Actually,
okay.
You got to exit stage right. You go left. You're going to be out the front porch through a window.
It is right.
Did you just... Oh, my God. How can you possibly speak with the articulation that you do and still struggle with left and right? I do, too, by the way. I still do it all the time. Left, right. I do it all the time. I don't know why. Because the simplistic and the mundane escapes us. And this is why we're bad at basic math, but we can do advanced stuff in math.
I've been yelled at by any theater director I've had because they'll be like, Hayden, go stage right. Hayden, go stage middle up. And I'll get it confused. They'll be like, go middle up, and I'll go middle down. Or they'll be like, go stage left up, and I'll go stage right down. Like, I mirror everything in my mind. It's bad. I've been yelled at by every single theater director I've ever had.
By the way, this just came out. Ethan thinks he can raise more money than you, Hayden.
All right, no, now I'm staying on.
You can't stay on. You got to let your brother on. You
Okay,
had a chance.
everybody, Ethan is the most annoying human being I've ever met in my entire life. He came to my room the other day. Everybody was just sitting down, minding their own business. I was in my room reading. And then he comes, knocks on my door. I open the door. You know what he does? He farts in my face. He came to my room. He walked across the basement, walked to my room, and farted on me. Just to fart on me.
Well, he's a boy. That's what he does.
So.
You used to beat him up. You used to throw him down and punch him. Oh, hurry up. We got to go.
Don't get out of here. Get out. For my 1 more minute, I would like to explain how I am better than Ethan and how you should donate, like, what is it? We should do like the $2, $1 thing again.
No, we shouldn't do the $2 and $1 thing because that doesn't pay the bills. And we've got to pay for the internet. We got to pay for the lights. We got to pay for the broadband. We got to pay for the merch.
Say Team Hayden or Team Ethan.
That's good.
And then we're going to count this because you can leave notes, right? On
Yeah,
the
you
donation.
can.
Okay, write Team Hayden or Team Ethan. Please
Hold on
vote
a
for
second.
me.
Hayden, I keep calling you Liv because I'm old. Stargirl Riku, the root word of the Constitution is con, just like conservative. Actually, it's constituency.
I think
if you knew any,
girl. It's shun is the end.
Yes, you're wrong. So it has nothing to do with conservative. It has nothing to do with con. The Constitution. Hayden, be quiet for a second.
Right.
Constituency is based on the Constitution, and it's based on for the people. I understand you have some sort of negative reaction to these things, and you feel like you need to espouse clever tropes in order to sound smart, and that's fine. I would rather have you explain what about the Constitution that you take issue with. What about our government you take issue with? Because simply separating the conversation between Democrat and Republican and going into the proverbial corners of our argument, it doesn't solve a damn thing. As you can see from this conversation, my daughter and I vary on different opinions. But instead of running to our corners and hiding, we would rather confront them and have a conversation so we can both learn from each other. And there were several times I corrected her, and there were several times she tried to correct me and failed. But either way, I'm not sure what you're talking about. The derivative of the word Constitution has nothing to do with conservative, and it's not the etymology of the word. I don't know what you're talking about.
And listen to the future English major here. Con is the prefix. Stitution would be, or stitute would be the middle, and shun would be whatever the
action
the end thing is.
Shun is action.
Yeah.
And
Con is the prefix. It is not the root. Please go back to 5th grade.
No. Don't insult her. That's not right. Don't insult. There's no reason. Why would you do that?
I'm not insulting. I'm simply
You are.
advising.
When you say go back to, no, you're being a condescending little pain in the ass. And when you tell someone go back to 5th grade, not everyone takes the passion and dedication that you have to the English language that you and I do. And her comment could have been innocuous. It was just her stating it. It was not threatening to anyone.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
You do not need to go back to the 5th grade.
Yeah, maybe you need to go back to preschool and treat others, kindergarten, treat others the way you want to be treated. What do you think about that golden rule? You are.
Tell that to Ethan, who farts in my face.
You're an extremely smart and intelligent young lady. Sometimes you forget that you're a child and you talk to adults in a way that you shouldn't. And that's because you're opinionated, and that's the way that I raised you, and I love you for it. And I'm not scolding you. I'm just, hey, you don't need to. She's a nice person. And Stargirl Riku has been on here many times. I just didn't understand what the hell she was talking about at this point. Okay. Anything else?
I think I'm good. Vote for me.
You did. Yeah. Team Hayden.
Because if you support Ethan, I can promise you he'll show up and he'll fart in your face. And it's not fun. It smells. It's happened to me multiple times.
Star, I would totally love to have you come on. Hayden's going to go because Ethan wants to come on. And we will totally have a conversation. Okay. Constitution
Sorry,
is also...
you don't need to go back to the 5th grade. I was mean.
Don't stop it. This show that's what we do. We call out the good, we call out the bad, and you don't need to be embarrassed. And I love that you're not. Also, Constitution has several different meanings, by the way. It's a very fluid word. And whether it would be Constitution to base it off of constituency in the Latin, or you were to focus on Constitution as an iron will or a strong-willed person, as my daughter is, who has an iron constitution or an ironclad constitution, and a constitution being a written declaration of laws. Constitution has many different meanings. So your interpretation as conservative or whatever, it's just simply, like she said, the prefix, the beginning of the word, and it doesn't necessarily mean that. But I think what we need to understand is that the Constitution represents all of us, and it doesn't matter what political party or affiliation we have. We still have those God-given and natural rights which are declared in the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence, and they should be respected. Everyone should have an opinion and be able to say what they want without hurting others. And this whole thing that got Hayden on today was all about hurting other people. It's all about hatred, and it's all about destruction. And honestly, if Hamas had any worry about the Palestinian people, they would have surrendered a long time ago. All you need to do is surrender.
I hate when people are like the whole, oh yeah, Palestine struck first, but Israel struck 10 times harder than needed. Japan, Pearl Harbor. It was Pearl Harbor. We lost a lot of people. It was tragic. It was really bad. Not supporting it in any way. We dropped 2 atomic bombs on them.
Yeah, but
nobody blinked an eye. Everyone in our country was like, yeah. But, when another country does it, when they're Jewish, all of a sudden it becomes bad. So
that's a good point. How about Iraq? 330,000 Iraqis killed under the George Bush administration. Nobody said shit about that.
No, nobody cares when we do it. Nobody cares when people of other religions do it. Nobody cares when other countries do it. Mm-hmm. Just Israel, because they're Jewish, and they're the most hated religion. They're the most hated people. It's disgusting how people hate Jewish people because of their religion.
It has to do with some of that, and there's a lot of other things. But yeah, I mean, you've pretty much. Oh,
thank you.
Was it Team Hayden?
Was it Team Hayden or Team Ethan? Better have been Team Hayden. Please.
Hold on, we're looking.
Watch. Like that's the only donation when I'm on. Then I leave, and there's like 20 for Ethan just because he farted on me. He's laughing.
slow
I
down.
hear him
He is
laughing out there.
Slow down for a second. Middle English, denoting a law or body of laws or customs, from the Latin to constitute or constitutior, to establish or to appoint. A body of people, which where constituents would come from. A body of fundamental principles established by precedents according to which state or other organization is acknowledged. Hold on, Hayden. Hayden, I'm busy. The basic written set of principles and precedents of federal government in the U.S., the composition of something, the forming, establishing of something, a person's physical state or regard to vitality, health, and strength, a person's mental, psychological makeup. Did we just get a team Ethan?
We just got a team Ethan.
I think the first one was team Hayden.
Ethan, we're tied 1-1.
All right. Appreciate you.
Somebody donate to Team Hayden. Like, just donate, like, multiple ones.
No, just do what you want.
Over and over, Team Hayden.
You need to go. We love you.
You're supporting a farter. He farts.
Hayden, you snore louder than any other human being on the planet. And trust me, you crank ass as well as any guy.
Your wife?
Your mother? Your mother?
Your wife?
Your mother?
My mother?
Your mother?
Snores so much louder than me. And you know it too, because the amount of time she goes to work and you complain, you're like, she was snoring so loud last night,
Hayden,
I couldn't sleep.
Hayden, Kevin's donation was Team Ethan too. Yeah. I don't know. We're going to find out. Get out of here. We love you. Thanks for being on.
Look in the chat. It was Team Ethan.
Hey, you need to allow Ethan to come on now. I know for someone who didn't want to come on, you certainly don't want to leave.
I just don't want to lose to a farter.
Okay, get out of here. Seriously.
Ethan!
Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Get out of here.
Hold on. I'm taking everything. I had like a whole setup.
You did a great job,
There
by the
was
way.
a fly in my water, though, so I didn't.
You did a good job. Congrats. Thanks. Ethan, let's go. Okay, don't hit him when he walks by. Be nice. Did you spill all the chocolate chips?
No, I ate all the chocolate chips.
Then what did you spill?
I didn't spill anything. I have earrings that were digging into my skull when I put the headphones on. So
Karen Vera says farting obviously pays. Get out. Hayden, you need to let your brother sit in. You need to hurry up. I want to get off the show sometime tonight.
Come on.
Get out of the chair.
Oh, Ethan, you have to click the mouse twice. The thing turned off again. I just pressed spacebar. Oh, that's so much smarter.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's because that's why
Team Ethan. I'm dumb.
she goes. All you gotta do is hit the space bar, and he goes, "Maybe you guys should be Team Ethan. I'm dumb." Oh God, love you, baby.
Love you.
You did well. What's up, man?
Hello.
Get your headphones in. Hurry up. Laws are a con. They are rules decided by rulers to control people's spiritual destiny. And that's interesting because every law that's in the land right now has been voted on by elected representatives or put in place at the city and state local level and then implemented at the federal level. So I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Yeah, because let's go over the laws, whether it be drunk driving, whether it be embezzlement, whether it be abuse, whether it would be murder or attempted murder, extortion, even jaywalking has a purpose. I don't believe that laws are put in place to manipulate men to do people's spiritual destiny. I think they're put into place because inherently people can be bad and do bad and terrible things, and there needs to be a level of accountability. There needs to be a law-based society to have a set of normal rules that people should follow. I don't consider laws to hinder my spirituality or my overall efficacy. I think laws are designed to be followed because it's what's good for the collective. And the individual rights must be upheld in that law. And if it's not, then it's no good. People can cheat and put themselves into power, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the law. It has to do with the way that we do not focus on the inequities of others and look past their shortcomings and put them in office because somehow we believe that they're going to make change, and they seldom do, when really the change that's needed isn't at the federal level or the national level or even the top states level. It's at the city and local government. Those are the ones. City council, municipalities, the county clerks, the sheriff. These people make the biggest change in your life. Anyway, hi, Ethan. Scoot on up, buddy.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
I want to make a speech
Okay.
about the donations.
Can you put the mic down a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So, basically, would you rather donate for a girl who
Who's it for, Liv?
You.
Liv, you got to put the name in there. Hold on. Wait. Liv? This doesn't do us any good if she doesn't put the name in. Hold on. Hold on. If you guys are going to make a donation, please pick the name of the kid you're doing. Okay, that's all right. Just say it does not say. So we got to figure out who gets that. But go ahead, Ethan. Go ahead with your thing.
So, would you rather vote for a girl who can't even spell gorilla, or would you rather fight for a young and handsome man who can...
Wait, okay, back it on up. Man? Young boy.
Boy.
Young boy.
Manly boy.
Manly boy.
Manly.
Whatever. Anyway, you want to go ahead.
And who can win the donation, win the donation election, or would you vote for her? So what I want all of you guys to do is to vote for me, and we will make donating great again.
It's a pretty good speech, dude. Make donating great again. Mata, make all donations. Magda. Okay. Clifton was for Hayden. So now it's 2 for Hayden, 1 for Hayden, and 2 for Ethan. Clifton went for Hayden. Regardless of what people would find to be acceptable, why hasn't Israel turned Hamas into ashes by now? I realize another enemy would show up, but it would be one less to worry with. Jessica, that's a great question. And if Ethan would allow me to, I'll go ahead and explain it. Hamas is terrorism is an ideology. It's not a person. And the hardest thing is to execute a war against terrorists. This is why the Taliban was successful against Russia, and this is why Taliban was successful against the United States. And after prosecuting a 21-year war, essentially we were back to square one, and so was Russia. I mean, Afghanistan was Russia's Vietnam. And Afghanistan, for us, certainly wasn't our Vietnam, but it was a very costly and lengthy endeavor, which got us absolutely nowhere. And the reason why is because fighting a terrorist organization is where's the head of the snake? There is no command and control structure. There's no C4 to go after. There's no government to replace. There's no economic threshold that can be eclipsed and strangled so those people ultimately die on the vine. So you have to essentially get them to stop or quit. And unfortunately, these become generational conflicts. But you also have Iran funding this, and it's a proxy. And proxies are very hard because you simply replace it with others. If Hamas is eradicated, then Hezbollah will step in. If Hezbollah is eradicated, then the JIP will stand in. If the JIP is eradicated, then the Houthis stand in. If the Houthis go down, the Muslim Brotherhood will go in. And then 25 others will take their place, maybe the resurgence of ISIS or Al-Qaeda. So when you're trying to fight an ideology, it's a much more difficult task. So Hamas has a very strong network of tunnels. They have an ability to hide amongst the civilians. And that makes it very difficult. And then also you have another thing outside of Gaza is you have the West Bank, where a lot of Hamas fighters have fled to, and some have actually went back into Egypt. Some have went north into Lebanon, and so they can go ahead and prosecute their conflicts from a farther distance away that may not be rockets, but can be more smaller incursions and smaller line fighting and more guerrilla warfare that can really hold up a foreign country from declaring victory. So as far as the overall physical and larger infrastructure of Hamas has been eradicated, the smaller cells and the smaller, more difficult bites from 1,000 fleas versus the one large, from a bear, can make a huge difference. Real quick, we have 2 donations coming in. Olivia will tell us where. That's my answer. I hope that answered your question. Ethan, what type of school supplies do you need? Amy, you got to come up, buddy. We can't see you back there. Oh, Team Hayden. Us snorers must unite from Debbie. It's now tied 2-2.
Us Faldles must unite.
Come on, boys. Let's get in here.
Come on, boys.
I think we have another one coming in. Ethan, what school supplies do you need? People want to know.
I think probably bindles, a few notebooks, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Some Sharpies, pencils, pencil sharpener, a good one.
Pokemon cards?
Pokemon cards. Bring my binder to school. What type of binder's that? It has all the stuff I need.
So you did something very accomplished in Elder Ring today. You did what?
I beat my first actual boss, and it was a demigod.
Yeah, you beat Mogit, and it was a very tough fight. You did very well. I was very, very proud. So, Ethan, you were frustrated. You saw some of the things today in regards to the protests, and you were the first one to speak out even before Hayden, saying you wanted to come on to the show. You've been getting into politics considerably. You sat and watched the Trump speech with me completely, right, from start to finish.
Yep.
And
we didn't from start to finish. I think we just quit halfway through.
Yeah.
We quit 75% way through because we just
It was the RNC speech. Well, I wasn't. Yeah, I just think. Yeah, I think we were just. It was a lot of time. I mean, it was 11:30, I think, or something. So, what did you want to talk about when it came to today? Tina, Ethan, all the way donated 3-2 to Ethan. We are now $244 from our goal. $243.24 to be exact. Just did some math, and we thank you guys and girls. Thank you for donating. But right now it's Hayden is in the lead with 3, and Ethan's in the lead with 3, and Hayden's 2. Sorry, Ethan. I know you're keeping track. Buddy, what did you want to watch the video real quick and show everyone what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Here comes your sister talking trash.
Yep. Hayden, I know you can hear this. You're listening it to on the TV. Scoreboard.
Scoreboard. Oh, dude, you're funny, man. All right, so here's one of the videos.
The Association of Flight Attendants, the American Postal Workers Union, the International Union of Painters, the National Education Association, the Service Employees International Union, the United Auto Workers, and the United Electrical Workers.
Previously, I told you there were 4 intersections that have been blockaded by the people for Palestine. Now it's 5. Pennsylvania and 9. Independence and 14. North Carolina and Pennsylvania Southeast. Independence and 4th. And Union Station have all been claimed by the people.
So quickly before we get to that, and then Ethan, I want your opinion because you wanted to come on tonight, and I thank you for being on time. I'm sorry that I said you weren't. That's my fault. Here's Ethan's list. Oh my Lord, Liv, really? This is like you leaving me food instructions. Ticonderoga pencils? What is it? A destroyer? Crayola colored pencils, zipper, ballpoint pen, highlighters, glue sticks, earbuds, wired, note paper, tab dividers. Why are we paying these people? Poly pocket folder, box of tissues, Post-it notes, music, guitar. Have enrolled in guitar. Okay, we're done. Anybody who wants the list, we'll post it. E, that bothered you when you saw it on the news today. What was it that bothered you? And I'm going to be quiet and let you go ahead and figure this out.
Chewing a Skittle.
Where did you get Skittles?
It was from my froyo. I just dumped them into a container.
You've had your froyo and I'm sitting here without mine? Okay, go ahead. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Eat your Skittle. Okay, go ahead and tell us.
So, the thing that made me upset was when I saw them stomping and burning the American flag. that is what triggered me, and I got so mad because if you are an American on this soil, you do not touch that flag and show it with any disrespect. You do not put it on the ground. You do not stomp it. You do not bone it. And if it gets like ripped when you have a flagpole, you replace it. You treat that flag with respect if you are on American soil. I don't care who you are, but I swear, you treat that flag with respect. And I don't care if you're from another country or you don't like America, don't touch the flag. And
why?
It shows disrespect to our country, and it is what I have grown up to respect because I am an American person. I've grown up in America. I have lived on American soil my whole entire life, and I have known to respect that flag. And when I see someone disrespect it, it makes me mad. And them spray painting monuments, them punching and jumping and holding cops,
police officers, is not, it's not acceptable. And I just can't believe what has happened ever since President Joe Biden has went into office. Because when Trump was in office, none of this would happen, except for the George Floyd thing. George Floyd. I didn't know you knew about George Floyd. Where'd you learn about George Floyd? I watched it on the news and stuff, and it was like big everywhere. Ethan is an extremely gifted child. He is able to remember sports scores and sports stats like I'm good, but holy crap. Like I can give you every single Stanley Cup winner in hockey history, but he's very, very good at remembering things. And there were times I used to argue with him, and now I have to stop and go, okay, wait, what? And because usually he's right. Why do you think it's important? I mean, we've had the flag here for 200 some odd plus 50 years. And why is it important to respect the flag? It's just a piece of cloth. What is it about the flag, and why do you care so much about it? Because it is our nation's flag, and it shows all of the states, and it shows us united together. And it is not okay when you disrespect. That flag is one of the most important things, is one of the most important anything you can have on USA. And if we go to your country, we won't disrespect your flag. And so why disrespect ours, and why disrespect all country? Because that flag is all country. Yeah. When it comes to Israel and it comes to what you're seeing from Hamas and seeing from supporters, what do you think about that? Do you have an opinion on that, or is it just really the flag that bothers you the most, and what happened? Repeat that again. Sorry. When it comes to Israel and Hamas and Palestine, are you even concerned about that, or is it just overall the burning of the flag and the way that took place? I am concerned. Okay. Because they are living people just like us. And just because they're a different religion and you might not believe in what they believe in, doesn't mean that they're not any different than us. They might have a different skin color, they might have different hair, they might have different eyes, and they might believe in something different, but they are a living human being. And when people disrespect them and kill them and torture them and just hate them, it's not okay. Because... What do you think about the assassination attempt on Trump? I know we talked about this before, but now you've had some time to think about it. You've had some time to hear the reaction of people. There was one from the FBI director, Wray, which I thought you would be interested in hearing, where there was... FBI is looking into it. And I want you to listen really clear to what he says and ask me any question. And then I want to get your opinion. They're supposed to be investigating this, right? The FBI is supposed to be investigating the Secret Service and the breakdown that took place in Butler. And we know that you know what happened to the director of the Secret Service, right? Yes. Resigned. Correct. shouldn't have had a chance to resign, do you think?
Should have been filed immediately.
Yeah, I agree. Because the difference is that when you're on a baseball team, your goal is to win, right? But if you lose, that's a part of the equation. And although your ultimate goal is to win, you still will play the game and be a part of it even if you lose, so you can learn how to win. Fair enough?
Yes.
Well, the Secret Service entire premise of what they're designed to do is to never lose. Ever.
And they lost.
Yeah. A loss is never acceptable. And the moment that you do lose, overall, it's a breach of contract. Their job is to protect and not to learn from a situation, but never have the situation happen. So the rules of their game is very different than somebody playing baseball or somebody working in a shopping mall. I want you to listen to this. This is Director Ray, and you are very astute and can pick up on things lately. And it just baffles me how your brain has flipped a switch this summer. I couldn't have shown you these things a year ago. But
I think it's probably the lack of electronics. Like, my brain was just on them, didn't care about anything, just wanted to do all my, not even do my chills, just try to get them done as quickly.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Just do them as quickly as I can, and they would mostly end up sloppy, not be done, and all of that stuff. And because I just wanted to go to electronics, but since I've been grounded and all of my electronics on my parents' vision, and I have to ask before I go, it has made me way more. I have been paying much more attention. I've been reading comic books.
Still reading.
I've been reading. I've been paying attention to the news. I have been using my hour a day, but after I'm done with that, I mostly go downstairs and either watch my dad play his video game or I just read on the couch. And I have just been way more. I haven't lied. I've been doing all my chores how they're supposed to do. I did the kitchen yesterday because Hayden wasn't feeling good, and she offered to do it technically when she got like some Advil in her or something, and she offered to do it, and I did it. So I just wanted to say that, and that's probably why the electronics messed with me and everything.
Yeah, Star says it's tyranny to tell others what to do if they aren't hurting others. Who establishes if they're hurting others or not? Is that the perspective of the person, or is it the perspective of a group of people who are responsible for enforcing laws to ensure that other people aren't hurt? So in your eyes, any rule of law is tyranny, as long as you don't agree, if you don't agree with it. Yeah, that's called anarchy, and that's the opposite of what we have in this country. A lot of libertarians, such as yourself, I'm assuming, believe that law and order is non-essential for a society that should govern itself. And history will tell us that an ungoverned society is a ruthless, lawless, and depraved society. If there's any doubt about this, you can look at portions of France in the 1400s. You can look at the Wild West. You can look at progressive cities in Democrat 37 out of the top 50 most violent cities. Michael, Team Ethan donated $20. Dude. I don't know. I think Ethan's run away with it. Anyway, I don't agree with the statement. I'm not an anarchist. I'm agnostic. What is your choice not to participate? What does being agnostic have to do with not being an anarchist? What's the difference? You believe in lawlessness. That's anarchy. You believe that the person should decide what is right and what is wrong, and no one else. And as long as you believe you're not hurting others, you aren't. That is a level of delusion that I don't think I've ever heard before. And it's that type of thinking that is the reason why we don't have anarchy. Because the thing about anarchy is that there are no parameters of group behavior that's required in order to protect the rights of the individual. And mob mentality and mob rule is usually what happens in anarchy. And that's where you get totalitarianism. And that's where tyranny comes from, is a group of people who no longer want to follow a lawless country and decide to make up their own rules at the behest of the group and the majority, and the minority suffers. So your whole point of trying to avoid tyranny is actually what creates tyranny. It makes no sense. I'm sorry. And Star, I'm done. I'm going to have some time with my son. So do me a favor and just listen for a little bit. Cool. You're annoying me now. So just stop talking, please. Just because you're saying things that are so incredibly stupid at this point that it's distracting. I mean, it really is. I'm sorry. You're just it's verbal diarrhea. There's no context. There's no topic that you're commenting on. You're just bleh, all over the place. And it doesn't do anything. Yeah. You can't even spell the words correctly that you're using. I really am struggling with demonstrating a modicum of respect for you. You have misspelled words to a point where I can't even hardly understand what you're trying to tell me. So, okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, Star. No? Yeah. Welcome to tyranny. I just banned you. That's called tyranny. See? My tyrannical rule just banned you. See? You're gone now. Bye. See, this is what happens. And we have laws here. We have rules here. And someone asks you to stop spamming the thread, and you don't. You get to go away. Ethan, I want you to listen to this. Sorry, I had to take care of what we refer to as trolls. Here you go.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all of the shots in the cartridges. So let us. I think with
What did you take away from that video, buddy?
Did he just say that the bullet didn't hit his ear and it was something else?
Yes. And that's the director of the FBI. So he's espousing that it's possible Donald Trump wasn't shot at all. That it was a piece of fragment that could have hit his ear and not the bullet itself.
His ear cartilage, some of it came off. Shrapnel probably was
Shrapnel.
just... Shrapnel.
No.
Shrapnel.
Yeah.
We'll just go through it. A bullet tore some of his cartilage off of his ear.
Right.
It is clear as a sunny day that bullet hit his ear. And also, if you're saying that he didn't get shot, there was someone shooting bullets and aiming for him. Sorry, computer turned off.
Okay.
How does that not make any sense?
No, how does it make any sense?
How does it make any sense?
So, go ahead.
No, you can go.
No, go. You're good.
And shrapnel.
Shrapnel. If you go in the military saying shrapnel, you're going to get your butt kicked. Shrapnel.
Yeah. What would cause it? Because the stage wasn't hit, so a piece of wood couldn't hit him. The billboards and the giant screen wasn't shot, so glass couldn't fly into his ear. It was a bullet, and I have seen that picture of a bullet whizzing by his head. And I have seen that picture, and if that guy hasn't, I'm impressed, because it is probably everywhere.
He's the director of the FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is openly an intelligence apparatus domestically for the United States. It's essentially what I used to do. Do I strike you as a person who hasn't seen that image?
No.
Then how the does it?
You show it on the show like every single day.
Yeah.
So.
See, but here's the thing that people need to understand. They actually believe that people believe him. they, how can a 11-year-old and a 14-year-old understand this better than adults? It doesn't matter if he was hit by a bullet. It doesn't matter if it was a piece of glass. It doesn't matter. That's like saying a person ran you over with a car and you should be worried at what their gas mileage is. Who gives a shit?
They're worried about what type of car it was.
Hey, what type of tires did they have? Were they radial tires?
Was it Michelin?
Were they white walls? Did they have treads? What is it? Did they have a recent rotation of the front to back to the tires? Who cares? It's semantics. Someone tried to kill Donald Trump, and this guy is playing well, you know what? This is what it comes down to, Ethan. I'm just going to say it because I talk to you like I would talk to anybody. They're not going to be happy until his head's gone. He wasn't shot enough for them. Can you imagine? Mm-hmm. He wasn't shot enough. Can you imagine a person taking a round in the shoulder or stepping on an IED, coming back? What about Mikey, no legs? Was he blown up enough for them?
No.
Did Mikey have too many parts of his legs remaining in order to be considered wounded in battle and combat?
He did.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. How upset were you when you saw it happen? And what was like the first thing that ran through your head?
The first thing that ran through my head when I saw Trump, when I saw someone try to assassinate Donald Trump.
President Donald Trump.
President Donald Trump.
Former President Donald Trump, whatever you prefer, or Mr. Trump, whatever.
Okay. When I saw someone try to assassinate President Trump, I was in shock. It was gonna happen one day, but
why do you think that?
A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people call him bad names, say he is equivalent to a Nazi, and someone was gonna do it because someone wouldn't like him, and someone was gonna take it way too far, and someone was gonna try to assassinate former President Donald Trump. And so I had a feeling it was gonna happen, but I still was not prepared to see it happen. And when I saw, I was in complete shock. I was saying, why would someone do that? I was just disappointed that someone would do that. And
did it scare you?
It scared me because I'm like, I almost just witnessed a former president and a president of the United States of America almost die on live television. And it scared me. And I'm just like, it scared me that I could have seen someone die. It scared me that if President Joe Biden didn't drop out, he most likely would have won the election. And it scared me that someone would do that. Do
you really think that Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, has a chance to win?
I don't think she does.
Why?
Because she's coming in 6 months, like 4.5 months before the election, and President Donald Trump has had 4 years to get a lot of people on his side and to prepare. She has 4.5 months to get everybody on her side and prepare for the election. And after what happened to President Donald Trump, I don't even think President Joe Biden could have won against him. So, yeah.
If you could say anything to Donald Trump, because you dressed up like him one point, you've always like kind of respected him, and what would you say? I mean, do you like him? What is it about him? Because it's interesting. Because I don't know why are you enamored with him? What is it about Donald Trump that you appreciate?
He was the president of the United States. I don't really know a lot about him. I just know some of his political opinions, I know that he was the CEO, I think, of Trump Tower, and I know, and I watched that video of the On Sea. I watched that video, and it taught me a lot about President Donald Trump. So, and I should remember a lot because I did a project about him when I dressed up about him in 1st grade. And I remember that, and I remember the Trump Towers. I remember him being the 46th president of the United States, and
40 what?
46, 45.
45. Biden's 46. 47 will be hopefully Donald Trump and not
Hopefully.
Kamala Harris. Yeah, dude. The fact that you even got within one is okay. Where do you think we are as a society, as Americans? I mean, what would you tell people when you see the violence and you see people harming the flag or disrespecting veterans? What would you tell them as a kid watching this?
I'd say to just stop and everybody to unite. I know not everybody's going to get along. People are going to disagree. People do not like the same things. But I just want everybody to agree once and get along and just unite for a few.
Everyone seemed to agree, most of the politicians, because that the Secret Service director needed to go, because I believe that they were all scared that it was going to happen to them if they didn't, you know?
I saw, especially when President Donald Trump tried to get assassinated, I saw a lot of people unite, but some people were just like, ugh, why did he have to miss?
Yeah.
You should have shot more rounds and all of that stuff. But a lot of other people will, I don't like him, but why did this happen? And other people like, who would do such a thing? And I've heard a few things where people like, and I've heard people go like, I was going to vote for President Joe Biden, but now I'm voting for Donald Trump. No, President Donald Trump.
It's okay. You're doing fine. Where have you heard that? Is it just on the news? Or?
On news and show, I've heard. Okay. I watch it sometimes.
Okay.
So
I think it's hard growing up as a kid, and you have to understand. I remember what you're going through because the remnants of President Carter, very similar to Biden. And although I was very young with Carter, I do remember Reagan talking about Carter and his failed presidency. And really, I saw President Ronald Reagan shot. And how I feel about the John F. Kennedy assassination. So it saddens me that you had to see this because I want to protect you from things. And there's things that have happened to me as a kid that you're aware of that I said would never happen to you. And I think I've done a fairly decent job in protecting you from those things.
You have.
But I certainly can't protect you from everything. And I don't want to. There's things you need to see. But I want you to always remember something about not Democrats, not our next door neighbors, not our friends and our family. Because there's nothing wrong with a Democrat. There's nothing wrong with liberals. Our entire party was found in classic liberalism, and the conservatives were found in classic liberalism. It's this extreme element of people who want to say that because you're white, you're evil, or because you're a man, you're going to do horrible things to women. Because I think it's just as abhorrent as what we did to African Americans. And just because those things were done by people who we don't even know and ancestors that we never met, it doesn't mean that we should just turn the tables and do it because we can. We should not do it because we learned a valuable lesson. So I want you to remember this, because I remember throughout history the times that Democrats have done things, and the politician is who I'm talking about, that have done things that have hurt small towns and hurt farmers and hurt people who are Christian and hurt the people we live with. And I have chosen, not because conservatives are always right, because they are the opposite of what I believe. the Democrats. So I choose the opposite of where people stand against them. You're going to have to decide that for yourself. And I know you and sister have a lot of views when it comes to socially about marriage and gay people. And that's great, because I think you need a unique perspective. What's the one thing that you kind of want to share? Anything else, that 1 minute that you can have before we kick off and you and I go watch the Astros hopefully beat the Dodgers, because that's going to be a tough game.
And Shohei Ohtani's not pitching because he came off of Tommy John surgery, I think. I heard that in the All-Star game, so he ain't pitching. He's
going out for Tommy John's. Is he still going to be batting?
Yeah, he's still going to be batting.
How the hell is he rolling? Is he going out for Tommy John's later in the year?
I think he might be going out.
Okay, I want to look at that, because he shouldn't be batting either. He's going to roll over on his elbow. Anyway, any last words for a minute? And by the way, right now, I believe it's 5-2 in donations for Ethan over Hayden. Hayden's not going to be happy. We'll have to bring her in here in a second.
Oh, everybody who just joined and everybody who's new, we need to make donating great again and vote for me. You have like probably 5 minutes left to vote for me. Do not vote for Hayden. Vote for me.
It's linktapgo.com/the dumb show. He's talking about donations, and the kids said, well, I can raise more money than this, and I can raise more money than that. And right now, I think Hayden's leading or behind 5-2. Ethan is leading. So if you want to participate, just do that. I appreciate you being on. I appreciate your sister being on. I think it's a great thing. And I do enjoy it. And it's nice to talk to you kids and get an idea of what your thoughts are on this. And it's awesome. So thanks for being on, buddy.
Mm-hmm. For my 1 more minute,
yeah.
probably going to be...
You got time. Go ahead.
Probably going to be 2 minutes. But I heard you guys talking about gay people and stuff. I totally agree with gay people and lesbians. You can be with whoever you want to be, but the one thing I do not support is men being in women's sports. It is completely unfair. If a man goes to softball, he will probably hit a home run or get on base every single time he goes up to bat. And it is just unfair for the women playing that sports and just the sports. Because if you have a man on your team, you're probably going to win the championship every single year. You have the best hitter, the best pitcher, probably the best catcher, and when men enter women's sports, unacceptable. Men's sports are men's sports, and women's sports are women's sports. Men stay in the men's sports, and women stay in the women's sports, and it does not cross. They stay in their own places, and they stay. Do not make it unfair. Do not ruin the sport, and just keep it the same it has always been.
Nothing's going to help the WNBA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. No, it's just not going to happen. Nothing.
Yeah.
Kevin Strauss made a comment. Do you mind if I add something?
Yeah.
Kevin says, make sure he leans to the right. No. No, I won't. Nothing. He wants you to lean to the right, to be more conservative and a Republican. Because here's the thing. I raise my children to know the difference between right and wrong. And if they're Democrats, they will be the most well-educated Democrats who are compassionate and use the Constitution to guide them and their beliefs. And if they're a conservative, they will be compassionate conservatives that use the Constitution to guide their beliefs. I don't care if they're left or right. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. I want them to be a good human being.
Also, I want to say one more thing.
I'm not done. They will be a benefit to either party. So I'll let them make that decision. And I won't shun them, and I won't course correct them. I will try to do what I've always done and educate them and give them the choices and give them the options from an unskewed perspective. And then they can use the minds that God gave them and we have worked with to decide what is best for them and the people around them. So I won't push him to the right. I won't push him to the left. I'll let him make that decision himself, because either way, he's going to be a great kid, great adult, no matter what. So that's all. And I didn't take offense to what you said. I'm not going to push him. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, E.
And the last thing I want to say before we hop off, probably one of the second things, probably one of the most, and I know you cannot hate people, and hate is a bad word, but probably one of the most second things that I hate is not only first is people disrespecting the American flag. The second is men saying that they are women and going into women locker rooms. No. Totally unacceptable. Not fair. You stay in your own locker room because that is just straight up creepy, not right, and messed up. You stay in the men's locker room and you stay there. And you stay out of the women's.
Can you imagine you and I walking into a women's locker room and be like, we identify as women, and walking into like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders? Is that cool? Can we do that?
No. Completely unfair.
Yeah, it's just not right.
And it's unfair for the women in that locker room, and it is messed up. And
yeah, you know what? Someone made a comparison. They said, have you ever went into a woman's restroom to take your daughter to go to the bathroom? And I said, well, no, I took her into the men's restroom. And he says, was she transgender? I said, the difference between my kid having to take a shit or peeing, my daughter and I aren't dressing up in different clothing and telling you that we're something that we're not. We're using the restroom because it's an emergency situation, and I'm not going to let her go in there alone. And the reason why we don't let her go in there alone, because there's sorry. There are weirdos. He's heard worse, trust me. He's heard me play my games. But there are weirdos in there, and that's the reason why we won't let them alone. That's the reason we got to go with them. But if you're going to tell me that my daughter, ladies haven't taken her into the women's restroom before and said, we'll take her, and I don't know them, I've allowed that. In Texas, I did. My daughter, my wife has offered. It's a different world in Texas. And I trust people. But you're damn Skippy. If she was longer than a couple minutes, I'm going in there. But it's different. And those stupid analogies don't change the subject to what is imperative, that men are men and women are women, period. Anything else, buddy?
I remember one time Mom took me into the women's restroom, and it probably took me 5 minutes to at least go in there, and she probably like threatened to ground me because she just I was like maybe 5 or 4, and we went to like a place in Texas. It was like a movie theater, I think, and I had to go to the bathroom, and she had to also go to the bathroom, and it probably took me 5 minutes. I'm like, no, I want to go to the men's restroom. And like I was just like refusing because I'm like, I'm a boy. I don't want to go into the women's because I'm a boy. And it took so much convincing, and I think she threatened to like take away my iPad for like the rest of the day. And
the horror.
The whole so.
Are you okay? Do you need a clean? Are you verklempt? Do you need a Kleenex? A whole day.
Goodbye, Crew World.
Your mother's watching you, mocking her. She's gonna backhand you when you go out there.
And yeah, and I finally went in there, and there's like no one in there, and I was like, whew. And
then you let one rip, and a girl walks in.
My mom, I don't know him.
That's right. All right, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody, thanks for watching the Donut and Friendly Show. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday night. It's Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. If you haven't had a chance to donate to the show, it looks like Hayden's going to lose. Ethan is going to win the donation rally. If you still want to participate, linktapgo.com/thedumbshow. Remember, the shirt of the night was the sale for tonight. You can go over to thedumbshow.com and pick up any shirt of your choosing right now, and you can use code DUM10 to save 10%. Try That in a Small Town was the shirt of the night. Our most popular shirt. We sold almost 500 of those during the Jason Aldean thing. People definitely like the design and what it looks like. It's pretty cool. So you go on over there and pick that up with 10% off using code DUM10, DUM10. Thanks for watching the Donut and Friendly Show. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, go to the Facebook page, Twitter, Wimkin, all those things, and go and like this morning's video. Last thing, Crisis Hotline. Ethan, why don't you go ahead and read that number off for me? That you see. What do you do? Dial what?
Wait, it just says 988.
That's right. So say that.
Dial 988, then press 1.
Dial 998 and press 1. Veteran Crisis Hotline. We have 22 veterans commit suicide a day. It is way too many. and you can give them the veteran crisis number at 988 press 1. It's for all veterans. Traumatic brain injury, anxiety, depression, and PTS are all very real. And too many veterans have lost their lives. You can give this number to them. You can actually do a checkup call if you want anonymously if there's a veteran that you feel needs the help, and VCL will call. And don't let it fool you. It's not just VCL for veterans. It's also for anyone who needs help. So it's a crisis line. So if you are not a veteran and you need help, call 988, press 1. We need battle buddies and swim buddies in the military, but right now they need anybody. And the anybody is you. If you would not mind helping, we would appreciate it. And last but not least, we're out of here and we will see you soon. But first, we want to show you a funny Wimkin commercial. Ethan, there's some cussing in here. And I don't want you to repeat these words, but it's really funny. And you can tell Jason that you love the commercial. Here it is.
Are you tired of being constantly banned off of every social media platform for saying facts only to be proven right 6 months later after you already had to create a new account? Tired of Fuckerberg robot AI-looking bitch constantly putting you in Facebook jail? Or maybe a geriatric old bastard who shits his pants in front of the Pope became the resident-in-chief because his crack addict, traitorous son had complete media silence about traitorous actions and backdoor deals with the big guy. And those bastards ban you for sharing the story. If you said yes to 2 of the 3 above, you don't need to circle back like a failed White House spokesperson who has 2 alcoholic drinks for a name. Up in Wimkin, we think it's fair not to sell your data to China, even though their president is super inclusive and named Xi. We kind of have a problem with the whole harvesting organs, slave labor, and communism. We also don't compromise you or get your kids to do stupid and dangerous trends. So you don't have to find out secondhand your kid Johnny is an idiot. Look no further than Wimkin. Made and housed in the USA, Wimkin offers all the features of Facebook and more, with complete data privacy and safe for your whole family. Download us on your app store today and join the community of users who value privacy and safety. Wimkin.
It's a good channel. I know there's cussing, but it's humor. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We will see you tomorrow. Say goodnight, E.
Peace. Thanks for voting for me.
Ethan won. He shellacked her. So now he gets to go get beat up by his sister. Good night.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show.
Good night, everybody.
Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.